So it's like you're disrupting their farm. You're the biggest thing about it is that not just disrupting the farm, but you're making the support stay in the lane that you want them to. You're accounting for all the support, so they can't go and gank other lanes.
Right.
So essentially, you're freeing up your other 2 lanes with only 2 heroes, whereas they have to put 3 down there. So the best way to combat that is to just find another dual lane that's good against it just by itself, or to find a dual lane that can actually dive it and kill it. But I don't think that Ogre, Visage plus whatever they want to put down there can actually do that. So that's, I think, the innate problem with Visage is that in the laning phase, in try straight up situations, he's amazing because that nuke is so good. But he's very slow support. Without Soul, or without the aid of Grave Chill to give you the extra movement speed, you are one of the slowest heroes in the game. And your attack animation is not exactly the best either.
Well, it looks like it's going to be a very standard defensive tri lane from them, and EG opting, at least for the moment, to position Universe out in the off lane on the Jakiro. And again, we saw him give up a number of early deaths, and he'll be looking to avoid that this time around. And the horn's going to blow, but we'll take a very quick look across elsewhere. This tri lane, as mentioned, will be Lil on the Visage this time. They're going to have X on their Ogre, and I still have no idea how that is actually pronounced, so I just continue to call him X. Illidan, who had a great game 1 for the most part, couldn't do it on his own, and this could be deja vu all over again.
Yep.
As Universe throws the Ice Path. That's a bit of a wishful thinking Ice Path, and that's an easy first blood. And pretty sure we saw this, and it was even Illidan that got it this time as well. So not the easiest day for Universe. Has really been struggling in the early phases of both games now.
Yeah, not exactly how you want to start this. And actually, this is not as bad of a lane as we saw last game. The PA with Wisp is actually way easier to dive a THD. Sorry, I keep calling him THD, but Jakiro. I'll try to get better than that. It's way easier to dive a Jakiro than this lane setup. So that was just bad place, bad time. And you have to be more careful when you're going for the runes, honestly. I think, especially your last game, when you know that a team like Polar likes to prioritize those, they're not going to give up a free one. So, and it's going to be a dueling action here with Ogre and Mag, or I should say Ogre and DP here versus the Lich and the Morphling. Interesting stuff there. They're putting some aggression onto PPD before he gets the nuke, which I think is a smart decision. And then finally top, Puck against 2. Puck's probably not going to get very much here, as Venom's pretty good support to harass him out.
Oh yeah, I think Zai's going to be able to, like, I mean, he's not going to be able to do a whole lot to fear. As he gets a couple more levels, he'll feel very, very safe. And like you said, Veno just a phenomenal support in terms of harassing other heroes out of lane. Down at bottom, Universe could be in trouble. Here comes Lil. He does have 1 point to Grave Chill, but no stun. So, he actually just cancels it. Cheeky from Universe. I'm going to waste the time. And top, they're going to have a Gale onto Phobos. He's going to throw the orb, and he's going to make it down into the river, but Zai's on his tail. He is level 2, has 1 point into Poison Sting. Nice phase shift to avoid that auto attack. And let's see, he's got a couple more seconds on it. Yeah, he's going to be able to jaunt. So, Phobos chased by Venomancer, but Zai's okay with that because, hey, that's fine. I'll just pre-rune. No worries.
The thing is I don't even think he can just pop the health potion and go back to the lane because he's not going to have an orb available to get away for next time. So that's a lot of time that he has to waste, unfortunately.
Gale onto the Ogre as Zai picked up the DD, and yeah, there's going to be the waveform, and Arteezy gonna come and secure the kill. That was bizarre. The Ogre, I don't know if he couldn't click or what, but they, like, Zai was standing right on the room. And down the bottom, I'll have to recap that later as Universe is way in no man's land. And okay, that's the wrong side of the creeps, Universe. That's you just ran to third base is what you did, the equivalent.
This is not a good day for offlaners.
No.
Like, Universe has gotten totally shut down yet again. DK Phobos hasn't really gotten a lot in this lane and will continue to get nothing as a result of just the lane composition and where the lane is at now, and how much Zai has gotten as a result of that kill onto Ogre. So yeah, these offlaners aren't going to do too much, unfortunately, in this game.
And we can see Arteezy continuing to bully Mag around a little bit. Now, game one, Arteezy really bullied him around, and Mag managed to catch up nicely. This time, it's close to even. I mean, given how much attention this mid lane is getting from both teams. Sitting at 12 to the 15 of Arteezy. He's not going to be too super upset about that. Phobos, once again, being chased by Fear and Zai. Looks like Fear started the clap and canceled it. I heard the audio play from it, but Zai is continuing to be a slithering little pain in the butt as he Auto attacks him down. There's going to be a waveform on the Mag. Arteezy right there with him. Fire Blast from the Ogre. Buys Mag enough time to get back to safety. PPD with 1 point into the Frost Nova. Could do some damage. Now we're going to see Universe once again playing so greedy. This is how he died so many times last game. He's going to try to TP away, and nope, got him. That is the third death on Universe, and just a little under 4 minutes in. And I don't know if he just doesn't care or what, but it's not just that he's dying in the exact same places, in the exact same way as he died so many times game one.
Yeah, not the most characteristic play from him. Maybe just something as simple as just having an off day. Not feeling it today, because these are kind of silly mistakes that he's making, to be quite frank. But it's okay. I mean, he's going to get a wave and a half here. Bottom lane, actually a little bit more than that. So if he's able to, this is actually really big. If EG can make sure that he doesn't get dove here and die again, he will get about level 4, maybe even a little bit more off of this, if he is able to get the experience from all these. If he gets caught out or dove and killed again, it is massive. So EG needs to be ready with their trigger fingers on their TPs. There's one ready by, I'm trying to check, actually nobody has it up yet. Nobody has a TP ready, so he needs to be very careful.
Yep, creeps come out to meet him. Tower will take some damage. You do have a glyph if it is needed. And looks like even, VP is very, very aware of how likely a reaction could be here. And they were playing that very cautiously. Still going to be more XP for Universe. He didn't get as much there as he would have liked, but he is coming up on that level 4. After this wave, he's going to be a little over 4, somewhere towards 4.5. So he's going to be quite happy with the way things have worked out despite his deaths. Regardless, and coming up on 4.25, give or take.
And then Puck's not even level 3. Just had to just kind of walk back and forth between the well and the lane. Just gets punished by Zion, which is a pretty good support hero, a pretty good 4 hero for punishing offlaners like this. And as a result, this Puck is going to have probably a little less impact than the THD, who's died 3 times. Jakiro, I'm sorry, Jakiro. I will put him. God.
I like it.
Chat doesn't
just
like
a cool
it.
Name, man. Yeah, but chat doesn't like anything. I bet they like my 322. I think I bet they enjoyed that.
Kappa 322.
LOL.
I can't shake it, man. I don't know. It's like I think
turn
I
it
talked
off.
about it. Yeah.
Turn off the chat, man. God, cast Dota. Rookie mistakes. Rookie mistake, and you hate to see it. But it's 3-1. In mid, Mag continues to hold his ground, 23 CS, despite the fact that the Ogre left quite some time ago. And Arteezy, I mean, he's doing well. He's up to 31 CS for himself, 23 for Mag. And let's see, is Phobos going to get dove here? Fear's on him. Fear is level 6, so not fearing any kind of a TP. And Zai has just been doing this. He actually got the block on. He's going to force him to jaunt. And he will be able to jump to safety on the other side of the Ancients. But Zai, Fear's just going to run right out. And he's going to catch Mag. He's got a split, and he'll use it. Not going to wait. Mag wandering back into the wrong part of town after dark. And that's a very high priority kill for them. He may get Lil if he decides to commit to it. Yep, going to jump, try to find him. And the Earth Panda. Good jukes by Lil as he lost him in the trees. But he's got a lot of help behind him, too. Arteezy's still in mid, and PPD's there. Trying to do something there. In the meantime, at bottom, looks like Polar wants to get a little payback on the tier 1, and that should end up dropping soon, though they can glyph soon.
It looks like they will get that tower, so that's good for them. Arteezy's definitely out farming this Death Prophet, though, and I think the same thing happens with this team when they've drafted Death Prophet. I just feel like it's not in a drafted situation where they can get the most out of them. We'll have to wait and see, but heroes like Morphling that aren't too scared to kind of jump in there and get out. Heroes like Panda who can just run their balls to the wall with their ultimate are very good against Death Prophet in particular. I'm going to sneeze, holy crap.
Well, he reaches for a hanky. We gotta
I couldn't mute it in time, sorry.
It happens, man. But, I mean, this is a game where EG, despite giving up 3 really kind of unneeded deaths on Jakiro, I feel like they're in a much better position than they were in game 1. And I think Fear's going to be able to take it over soon, as his Panda has been having a great game. Yeah, he's going to have his blink up in, and he's going to have like a 9-minute blink. And Phobos has to just TP out, spin a TP. In the meantime, Arteezy bottles the double damage, and it looks like they want to go ahead and take a tier 1 of their own with it.
This Puck is getting absolutely nothing. Nothing. That's 3 yes.
Lowest level on the map. He's the lowest level.
Yeah. I think I've seen him like 4 times now just walk up top to the lane and just get out immediately. Nothing. I mean, Universe, even though he's died 3 times consecutively, like, he's getting stuff. He's level 5, tranquils, pushing towers, doing stuff around the map. Puck has absolutely zero contribution, and will have no contribution just because of how bad of a setup there is so far. So.
Still a DD on Arteezy, and they may push here cautiously. That is a Blink Dagger done on the Brewmaster, and PPD's holding the line here in mid all on his own. Fear actually went back to base and ready to roll, but just look, I mean, again, Universe, despite his deaths, did find level 5, not quite level 6, but still 3 points in a liquid fire. And he's going to be able to, like, they have to come help. This is just going to be a dead tower in about 30 seconds if they don't come right now. And the Ogre's going to be spotted. There's the TPN. They may try to get something in reprisal. Universe with just 1 point in Ice Path, not going to be able to do a lot to prevent them from charging them down. But they have to be careful. Yeah, I was going to say they can't over-pursue, and this is one of the things that having a Brewmaster on team just changes. Like, you can't just decide at this stage of the game. It's like, okay, we probably have the advantage. Let's just go chase and fight. No, because a Brewmaster shows up and you feed 3. That's what happens a lot of the time. Speaking of, Mag, caught from behind. Fear's right there with him.
Whoa.
Wow. Chain Frost. Not needed. Fear. That was odd. I mean, yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's just odd.
Alright, Chain Frost down. Now we can go take a fight. That was very questionable, but I was going to say that this is where instances of how well you do in the early game really, like, we stressed it in the early game. Oh, no.
Once again. That was strange as well. And Peter just about died. And will die. Ends up dying to the Ogre. The Ogre's going to end up giving his body for it too, though. Universe has a nice path in 1 second. There's a stone. Locks down the Ogre. In the meantime, Lil doing what damage he can, and they managed to get the kill on Arteezy. That alone makes it worthwhile. And Fear reassembling and cleaned up as well. So some bizarre plays here and there on both sides. Sloppy, probably the better word than bizarre. But that time, it goes Polar's way. And they get some very high priority kills, even if they did have to give up Illidan for them.
Yeah, and there's something coming on the courier, too. I think it's close to a full medallion, actually, for Lil. So what a timely level 6 for him. And then right after that, gets 1,000 gold in the bank just about with his birds. So fantastic. I mean, Visage is one of my favorite supports. Once you get him out of the laning phase and online with some birds and minimal feed, and actually he's 2-0 and 2, so doing quite well for himself. But what I was saying about Puck is if he had a better time in that lane and was able to hit level 6 in a timely fashion, there's no chance that EG could push like that, because what happened is they disengaged very easily, just walking away when the other members of Polar came up to try to fight them. But if you have a coil, you can't do that at all, because the second you get close enough, you just coil, you run away, you break, and get stunned again. So
Grave Chill on the Fear. Familiars are there to stun him out. He's got help from the low ground, and he's going to end up dying. Multicast, procced at the right time, and Ignite. Should be enough to... Nope. Is it enough? That was his last bubble charge. Got him. Crypt Swarm from down low. And now they're going to go ahead and re-engage Peter. In some trouble. There's going to be the wait more from Arteezy. In the meantime, nice Ice Path. Got 2. They're going to end up getting at least 1. PPD will die in the river. Arteezy still alive, morphing his strength, trying to keep up and standing. Universe going to eat the Crypt Swarm along with Arteezy. The Familiars well played that time, got the chain stun onto both of them, and that prevented the pursuit. Double damage rune has spawned at bottom. Mag's going to get eyes on it and pick that bad boy up. 8-4. Polar continues to build on their lead. And this is fairly familiar to game 1. 2,000 gold, not insurmountable by any stretch, but not bad either. 1,500 XP in their favor too. What's the next step for Polar?
Get a core item on Mag. He's close to his Yules. Make sure you're fighting around a Death Prophet ulti that you know he's not going to get just one shot after he uses it. You have to fight around carefully around the Panda split, and I think that's just kind of the case for every team that plays around the Panda. You need to fight around safely the Panda split. There's a smoke here. Oh God, another missed coil.
Yeah, they're still going to get it. The sad thing is they're going to get him. I don't know why they spent the coil at all.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, he, like, Zai's was the only, like, they had vision on at least 2 or 3 in mid. I don't know. That was just bizarre.
Well, that was kind of a bad coil, but then also the question stands, if they can easily walk up there with a whipped coil, then Zai's probably out of position. So
yeah,
he probably shouldn't have been there.
But, yeah. EG trailing and losing ground. Overall net worth, we can see Arteezy's in range, but on top of it is Illidan. There's going to be a macro pyre just to keep the lane shoved. And they have been whittling down this tier 1. As we can see, it's down to about a third health now, just off of nothing but some scant right clicks, but more importantly, the liquid fire, which was maxed by Universe now, 4 points into it. Down at bottom, Illidan continuing to farm. He's going straight up Scepter with Treads Aquila, and now more than halfway to his Scepter. In the meantime, Phobos is just holding out and praying for that Blink Dagger to come soon. He is just level 7, struggling so much. And that kind of plays into what I was talking about during the draft. It just feels very greedy from Polar.
I'm sorry, from what?
Feels very greedy, just their draft. There's just not enough farm, not enough experience to go around. And that's why one reason why the puck was just kind of left to languish.
Yeah, I would agree with you, and I'm not the biggest advocator for Razor getting mech, but I actually think they really need a mech on this team from somebody. Maybe from the Visage or even Death Prophet if she wants to get it, but it doesn't look like any of them are going to prioritize a mech. I think it's very important against Panda split. When he goes in there, isn't able to burst someone down, actually hold that down. I see Yellow getting hurt as he actually almost dies to Arteezy right clicks and whatnot, but if the Panda doesn't give somebody instantly with like a clap and then a split and everything like that right away, if you use the mech and actually get that bonus HP and armor, I think you can easily fight actually TP coming out from Illidan as he is being aggressive bottom lane.
Yep, didn't want to chance it. Didn't have anybody else on screen, but assumed that if Zai's throwing a Gale and not immediately hightailing it, there might have been help on the way, so he TP's out. Total waste of that exorcism in mid, by the way. Got a little bit of damage done, but Universe can hold the line against DP for quite some time unless they want to commit to an out-and-out dive. Down at bottom, they are in position to take this tier 1 without a whole lot of contesting. Blink Dagger is finally done on Phobos, though, so hopefully he can have a bit more of an impact. And Universe playing very safe, not even worried that much about the free damage done to the tier 1. There is no blip, so they may end up getting an out-and-out trade. Universe being zoned out, and they will go and take it. So, wow, they actually caught him with a 2 times multi-cast on the fire blast. There's going to be a macro fire that goes down before he dies, but Arteezy's there to follow up. Fear, 2-man clap and the split, waveform straight through, Mags down, Illidan's next on the list after the rock from the Earth Spirit, or Earth Panda. And Polar got the trade they wanted, but it cost quite a bit. They may even end up getting one of the familiars. No. Anyway, still.
It's close.
Very close. Zai not giving up the chase yet. Oh, got it! Got him! So a nice 100 gold infusion for them. Bounty going to be spotted, taken by Phobos. Fear turned away. Fear did, by the way, decide to go Blads after that. Now, there are some creeps. Ogre trying to be sneaky, has creeps on his tail as they pursue him into the woods, and Arteezy's there with BBD to help clean it up. In the meantime, could have another breakout of action. Here in mid, there's going to be a close bit on Universe that did not get Zai. Zai did manage to get off his ulti. But in the meantime, Universe still being pursued. There's going to be the Soul Assumption, and that makes it 11-7. So action everywhere, and Phobos isn't even done yet. We've got Arteezy trying to chase him down as well. But VP finally looks like they're ready to reset.
All right, these coils. Coils I've seen some better coils. I mean, that was a direct, or Zai living right there is a direct result of the Colombian miss right there. Last time, well, he wasn't so lucky, but this time he got very lucky there. I mean, he was pretty close to that Tajikiro. I think he definitely should have been coiled, but not having these offlaners, man. It comes back to the offlane syndrome, I guess. Yep. These offlaners not having the best day today. BKB here coming up from Morphling, a very defensive posture from him, which I think is just fine. I think he can farm up enough, especially with a player of his caliber, to kind of pick up the slack. He doesn't really have that much of a farming tool. No Midas, no Lincolns, but BKB ready to fight now. And you have the Vlads up for Fear, so these coils need to be a little bit better, though, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I don't think farm's going to be an issue. I mean, Morphling's entire kit is basically a farming tool. Being able to replicate across the map, split push, etc., 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 and of course, clear waveform. Tier 1 going to end up dropping, and they're going to end up trading it away. Yeah, there's going to be the waveform as Arteezy took his chance and was able to replicate away after waveforming and auto-attacking that tower down. EG has eyes on Roshan, and they are setting up a wall of wards as they're going to make their way down now. And yeah, they're going to move in, so they're ready to go. And the liquid fire, the wards, etc. This is actually not going to be very difficult for them to take. I don't think they know if there's a ward here or not. They have their own wards down, but I don't see any protection from Sentry. So they're just roll the dice, and it's going to work out.
Yep. Absolutely no vision here coming up. You can tell that was a brown pink or orange pink, but either way, the deed is done. Morphling picks it up. Did he have a double damage as well? Yeah, he did, which is one of the better heroes in the game to have it because it doubles your base damage, which is always going to be high because of your base agility. So, easy Roshan, easy peasy for him. Some tier 2 boots, as you call them, with the treads coming out for both Puck and the Panda. And, yeah, relatively quiet but even game so far.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's 19 kills in 19 minutes. It's kind of just been hot and cold. Whenever there's been action, there's been a lot of it. Fear taking his time to farm now. He did have the Vlads done quite some time ago. I'm a little surprised that EG isn't doing more as a group. We can see a little bit of that in bottom. I'm a little surprised Fear's not there. Arteezy going to be able to replicate out if things get too hairy. But Universe could be left here. And yeah, he's just kind of left the die. And this is what I was talking about. If you're going to push his 3, you may as well push his 4, unless you're just trying to make space for the Panda. But with having a Vlad's and a Blink up already, I think it's time for him to fight. Zai has 1,300 gold of his own, maybe a Blink or a Force Staff on the way.
I think they're committing just a little bit too much for all these kills, though. Like, it's 12-8, yeah, they're in the lead, but every single time I see a kill, it's like 4 people moving in conjunction with another, and I look at the other side of the map, and EG's kind of splitting farm, whether it's, in this case, it was Veno and Panda, Morphling running around, getting some farm in the jungle in this case. So I think that's fine, they get those kills, but I think if you're committing 4 heroes, it needs to be a bigger priority, like the Panda or the Morphling. At this stage of the game, when you have multiple cores in your team for EG being the Panda and the Morphling, I think those are the targets you need to really get.
This tier 2 may end up dropping to creeps. It's gonna be close. Nope, they switched targets. Oh no, hang on, Zai! The denied from Visage. Zai trying to be cute throughout the Plague Ward. And just a little slow on the second auto attack from it. Either way, net worth-wise, Arteezy has leapt ahead of Illidan now. And that's kind of a big deal. I mean, Illidan's not in bad shape. He's going to be adding a BKB to his inventories. He's picked up the Ogre Club. But the item development on the side of EG is where it needs to be now as well. They've had time to stabilize. And net worth-wise, we're dead even. And I don't think that's really where VP can afford to be given their draft. I mean, if you draft a Death Prophet or Razor, and a Visage in particular, I mean, they don't have a ton of late game. I mean, Razor, of course, can hold his own, but when you're up against a Morphling who is more than happy to go 60, 70 minutes against your composition, when you have a Brewmaster who has yet to really show his power in conjunction with his own team outside of a few skirmishes, I feel like Polar needs to be in the lead right now, and they're not, and I'm not sure that they have what it's going to take between 30 and 40 minutes to build a lead.
Yeah, to build onto that point, I think EG is also just a team that is very comfortable in taking most games into the big game.
Yep.
And Zai actually might bite the dust here. He doesn't get he gets stunned through a TP. He might get TP out right now. Oh, he will stuff though. So
he's gonna end up dead down at bottom. I thought we were gonna have a breakout, but yep, got there, flashed it there, saw it, and EG might still decide to re-engage. There's a lot of dancing in and out of the trees as they're looking for a hero onto which to engage. And Fear's right there, ready to go. They just need it slow. They need something. They just want to catch one. 3 on 4. There's Yules. Got the Yules and the Ice Path. There's going to be Fear with the clap, and he is going to go ahead and split. So Illidan down in a flash. There's a rock onto Lil as well, so that should be a free one PPD. Drew out his Chain Frost didn't accomplish a whole lot, but they didn't need it to accomplish a whole lot. Ogre tossed into the air by the Storm aspect. Lil being pursued to his own tier 3. Here come the responses, and Arteezy very close to dying. Does manage to get away, but now VP off of the back of an Illidan buyback, able to clean house with it. Arteezy hanging around way too long, still morphing strength. Will come down into a silence though, and will end up feeding his Aegis. So the Aegis not having a lot of time left on it. Don't think he's going to sweat that too much, but now it's well. BKB is going to wait for him and TP out and safely make it back. So even though they don't get the tower, and even though that fight wasn't as much of a clean sweep as they would have liked, the fact that they forced Illidan to buy out is a pretty big deal in and of itself. That's going to put his BKB quite a bit further away.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. I think Morphling wanted to just replicate out, but he actually got Yules while the replicate was fading and had 1 second left on it, so forced to use the Aegis right there and the BKB, which is kind of annoying, but I think EG's perfectly fine with that.
13-9. Go ahead.
Oh, but what I was saying is that draft aside, because I actually don't think Polar's draft is like that bad late game, but I think EG is just a team that feels very comfortable in taking most lineups into the late game, and I think most teams know that, so it's kind of scary. It's kind of like a mental thing going into the late game against EG, just because you know how capable the farmers are.
And it looks like EG will dodge the bullet, as there was a 3-man smoke, just going fishing, unable to find anything. But I agree with you, by the way. I think EG is, if there's anything about EG, win, lose, or draw, that you can say about them is they're not a team that panics. They're not a team that feels pressure. They're not a team that really lets those things get to them. They play at their pace, they make their decisions, and they just play very patiently. And sometimes that means you close the game out in 30 minutes. Sometimes it means you go for 70 minutes. Sai gonna end up dead here in his own woods. So patience or not, sometimes you're just in the wrong place. And that's another overextension death from him. But
again, though, this is 4 heroes all walking to kill him. Like, I know that's good, getting those kills, but I don't think that's sufficient. But, like, I mean, at the same time, though, you can't keep doing that if you're Zai. Like, that's just freebies all the time. You're like, what do you want to do, guys? I don't know, let's walk down and kill Zai. Yeah, sounds good. All right, let's go. You can't do that every single time. He needs to kind of cut down the feed just a little bit.
Zai is going with a scepter straight up, as has half of it, give or take. Has bought his Staff of Wizardry and his Ogre Club. I think I would have preferred a blink on him, actually, but whatevs. Wants to go with the, again, it's just 24 minutes in, too. It feels like a much later game, but still very, very early on.
Yeah, the axe is good because it forces them to focus him, and then you don't really want to focus a guy that can just press R and have an AoE ult hit everybody, so I think it's a fine decision. Yule's coming out for the puck. Pretty good pickup here for DK Phobos. Hasn't died yet, so despite having a bad start, is 2-0-2. Pretty decent score there. BKB coming up for the Death Prophet, which I totally agree with. I definitely think he needed that.
For sure.
So, yeah.
There's going to be an Ice Path to help bail out PPD, as he was caught from behind with the Yules. The Visage Familiars are trying to pursue him, but Fear's here with an Invis, and they've got 3 and 4. If Zai wants to make his way, slither his way through the jungle, they would be engaging into a whole team at this stage, though. And if Fear decides to pull the trigger, this could get ugly very quickly. Speaking of PPD, spotted out and about to be brought down. And he's going to die for free. Fear showing good patience again and not getting too far ahead of himself. We will see Universe showing off his blink and jumping out. Phobos up, got eyes on him. Universe has a TP. Gonna Ice Path. Familiars are there, though. And the coil spent just in case. It's actually Yule's as well. But he ends up dead, and Fear can do nothing but stare on as a silent observer and finally blink away and find himself an H-Stream. So, in mid, though, we're going to have Illidan engaged upon by Arteezy and Zai. And let's see if Arteezy can catch him. He's going to have Adaptive Strike. Yep, got him. That's going to be a killing spree for Arteezy. And as good as it is to get the Jakiro and the Lich, being able to kill off Illidan at this stage is probably even better for EG.
Yeah, I mean, these are favorable trades for Evil Geniuses, I think. Also, an interesting coil usage yet again. I feel like they had multiple ways to cancel the TP. He had his own Yules, which was off cooldown. So kind of interesting coils here this game, but nonetheless still making things happen when he can. Not dying, although I say that right now he might be in some trouble.
Phobos is dead.
Yep.
There's the E-Blade as Arteezy finishes the shotgun. And this is beginning to feel worrisome to me for Polar. Like I said, they have been playing it close, but now EG has actually taken their first even really measurable lead of the game. They were actually ahead close to 1,800 or so, but at 28, that's really negligible. But the fact of the matter is, Polar's lineup kind of demands that they not be breaking even at this stage. They should be ahead. And their item progression isn't terrible. They're just not going to scale particularly well. Even with Illidan getting his BKB up sometime in the near future, it still feels late. It feels like EG has caught up with their item progression in Polar outside of just taking 1 or 2 big fights, much in the fashion that EG did in Game 1. They're just never going to have a chance of regaining momentum.
Yeah, and the supports aren't as farmed as it looked like they were going to be in the start of the game. Like, Visage had a really good start there in mid after that level 6, and then very quick counter kill onto the Panda. Doesn't have his Ags in quite yet, actually. He's about 1,300 gold away from that. Much later than you would expect to see, just with the start. And Ogre is not going to have a very timely Ag Scepter either. Like, he's kind of primarily the ward buyer. He's the 5 position, so Not going to be the fast Ags coming out for him, which is one of the reasons you kind of want to pick the Ogre, just because of how good he is with that Ag. So kind of unfortunate there. Quick pause, though. It does look like we're ready to go.
Yep, just took a second. This is game 2 of our only best of 3 of the day. And tomorrow, I'll give you a brief on the schedule. We once again had to shift a thing or two to make room for some of our other friendly tournaments like the Summit, as well as working in cooperation with Ace. But we will be having more games every day of the week for the next, for quite some time. Here's going to get the clap on over. And uses his BKB. He's going to be hit with the static lead. He's just going to go ahead and split immediately. Rock from behind. TBD is there. Throws the Chain Frost. And once again, some interesting Chain Frost usage. And Mag's actually going to turn back around. All right. I guess they want to reset and try to fight this. That's bizarre. Yell goes off. There's going to be the exorcism, but Mag is just melting amidst all of it. Ends up dropping before 5 seconds of his ulti. There's going to be a coil use that time. Managed to get 2, but it doesn't matter. The damage isn't there. Zai's ult is late, but it's done. Yeah, again, it just doesn't matter. He's going to end up feeding his body, but in the end, the rest of Polar gets tracked down. That's 5 for 1. And any vestige of momentum they had just went up in smoke. That was just odd to me. It looked like, yeah, I mean, you get caught, you lose Illidan, that sucks. Mag ran down here and said, nope, gonna run up here even though the Panda's there, and just got tossed in the air. And then the rest of his team followed him and died. So some of the decision-making quite suspect, and Universe taking this chance to avail of himself of an undefended tower. Liquid Fire, pretty good ability, gets it down to half health at bottom.
I think his thinking was, all right, the Panda split's just about to be down. I can get a really nice double silence with an Exorcism and BKB, and I think I can go ham here. But I think, honestly, the right-click damage from Arteezy with the BKB on is actually quite high. And despite him having the BKB, he doesn't really have that much armor right now. He's only got the plate mail, no Shivas or anything like that, no heart. So he's not very tanky, even though he has magic immunity. So that the right clicks actually hurt. Panda is critting for actually a decent amount of damage. I think it's like 330 or something like that.
Radiant's bottom tower is
and he
under
has a
attack.
blast too, so he can lifesteal and has evasion. So I think he thought it was a good time to turn, but the bottom line is that Razor and the rest of the team cannot fight without this Razor BKB.
No.
He just does absolutely nothing. He's very close to it. Might change the game here, but that one fight was just a little bit too early for VP Polar. They needed to wait like another 2 minutes, and they actually could have taken fights quite nicely, but I think it's going to be much more difficult now.
But one gets the impression that Arteezy, if not already there, is approaching critical mass. He's added a Yasha to his inventory now. If he wants to go Manta, he's going to just need another 500 gold for the ulti orb, and then another 700 after that. I mean, he's just very close to going berserk. And when you look at the net worth, it's easy to understand why it feels like he's that far ahead. He's essentially one big item ahead of the Razor and the Death Prophet both. And 30 minutes in, if you haven't been able to contain him any more effectively than this, you're probably looking at very dire circumstances coming up as the game goes later and later. But there, I mean, like you said, the Razor BKB will make a difference. I just think the damage output, the ability for Arteezy to just take one of these supports off the map immediately. Like if they, Visage, I mean, 1400 HP, respectable, 1500 for the Ogre. But with a couple of extra right clicks, they're still going to feel plenty squish. And then with the Brewmaster to deal with the Death Prophet and to deal with the Razor, I just don't know. I think it's going to be difficult. The BKB is done now for Illidan, however.
Yeah, and that's definitely necessary, but I think the innate problem with this draft from Polar is that with the first pick Panda coming up, you would expect they have better tools of initiation, as Arteezy kind of TV's out there. You would expect they would have better tools of initiation to really shut him down. Their only initiation tool is a puff with the Blink Silence, but that's useless now against the BKB on Panda, so they actually have no way to deal with this Panda whatsoever. And this is a first pick Panda. They have ample time to go to the draft to actually find ways to counter around it. So right now they're going to have to go to plan B, which is not kill the Panda and just try to kite him out through his ultimate, which you can maybe do with a BKB on Razor. We saw it didn't work at all without the BKB.
Tossed it in the air. Nice pass there. It actually does BKB, but the good ulti goes off from Zai. Caught two. Illidan's lashed onto him, however. They're going to end up chasing out Mag. Mag moving very quickly. Polar still waiting on Fear's ulti to be expended, and they're not going to do it quite yet. Now he's finally going to split. He's right on top of the Ogre. This is basically just Fear here. Meanwhile, behind that, we see the Razor does end up dropping, but Fear doing work. Tosses the Visage into the air using the Storm aspect. Now they're going to get the rock off onto the Ogre. And they should be able to follow this up and clean it up. We can actually see Phobos is cleaned up by Arteezy behind the fight. And Fear, even though unable to secure any kills on his own, ran plenty of interference to guarantee that they got the two they really wanted to get out of that, which was the puck, as well as Illidan. Macro Pyre down, Arteezy eating some damage. Not gonna matter though, Ice Path there to follow, and Arteezy makes it a double kill for himself. Universe right on top of Lil again. Hits him with the dual breath. Arteezy gonna have his Aegis pop, but he's gonna be quite happy with that. Very lopsided engagement this time around. And he's gonna waveform back in and go for the shotgun on Lil. Not enough damage behind it. Mag though, 85 seconds until his ult's ready to go. He's up and ready to fight, but not a whole lot he can contribute. In the meantime, Arteezy has completed the Manta style, and he has his BKB ready to go again right this second. They're pushing on up to the high ground. Let's see if Polar's going to have any chance to stall or to stop this. Down at bottom, Universe is going to work on the tier 3 by himself using Liquid Fire to melt it down. And they're going to go ahead and focus there. In the meantime, EG did rotate most of their team there. They left Fear behind. Fear has a while on his ulti still yet. 20 seconds. BKB's ready for everyone. We're going to see Universe actually Yules himself after the first Yules. Now Fear's going to be there. Phobos has to be careful. And Ice Path is going to be there. I just heard Arteezy try to shotgun someone. Looks like it was Mag. He's going to wait for him through. Right clicks are not enough, and he has a lot of damage stolen away from him. Again, he's hitting for nothing, and that's just a feed. Getting way too greedy. A little too big for his britches. Universe misses with the Ice Path onto Phobos. Fear still on his tail. Did use his BKB. It's now down to 7 seconds. Waiting on the phase shift. Gets the clap. And the follow-up right click. So they end up trading 1 for 1. Still, Arteezy's death probably much more unnecessary. Amidst all of that madness, though, they only lost the tier 2 and a tier 3. All the racks remain standing for Polar.
Kind of a very long and drawn-out fight. The start of it, though, was Illidan chasing the Veno from start to finish with his BKB and the Link active the whole time. It could not get the kill. He had his plasma field up in 1 second to try to nuke him down in the trees, but a really nice Ice Path actually stopped him. And it just goes to show you, like, your entire draft of Razor can't do anything in these fights.
Yep.
It's really, really frustrating, I'm sure, for Illidan, but maybe he should have gone BKB before the Ag Scepter, because now I feel like it's too late. I don't think he's doing enough damage. Well, clearly he's not, because he can't kill a solo Veno, even when he turns all his efforts to do so.
Polar, still in it. So long as they have racks, they're still in it. But EG, 100% masters of their own destiny. 12,000 gold their advantage. And just about 20,000 experience as well. Is there a plan B here, man? We're just 35 minutes in, but this is what we were talking about. Like, this draft from Polar, with the Razor, with the Death Prophet, with the Puck, greedy as it is, they needed to get their items up. They needed to contain Arteezy. They needed to accomplish a lot with these early mid-game heroes like the Death Prophet and the Razor. They broke even, but now EG, happy to have broken even for the first 25, just exploding in terms of net worth. Is there anything they can do to stop that?
I don't think that Polar needs to do anything extravagant. I would just say play it safe and play in their base. They have decent high ground defense. DP is very good at high ground defense, because you can spam out your nuke constantly. It's very, very low cooldown. Universe actually might feed up a free one here. They're very scared. They didn't even attempt. I mean, there is a replicate down here. For Arteezy, he could maybe blow up.
Ulti off from Zai, and he does have the Bailey. He didn't use it. Just now is he going to use it. PPD is there to try to help him out. And he's going to end up dying, but PPD still has a chain. He's waiting for the PPD to expire, and here comes Arteezy, ready to clean it up from behind. And once again, the pursuit of a Venomancer will end up being the death of Illidan. And eyes a little too big. Eyes too big for his stomach, I do believe. That's a double kill for Arteezy. The fat get fatter. And he can do whatever the hell he wants. He's got 3,000 gold. He's at 18,000 overall net worth. And they're ready to push, I believe. And Universe should end up dead down here. There's going to be another weird coil. That was 100% unnecessary.
Yeah, I don't know about the coils, man. I don't know. Crazy. But, and if anything, that's actually going to give signals to the rest of EG saying that they're free to do whatever. There's no coil down, or coil available, I should say. Force Staff actually completed for Puck, so he went Axe last time. This time he feels that kiting is more effective, and I agree. I think that kiting around the Panda Ultimate is kind of the way to approach these fights. If they live throughout the shotgun, if they live throughout the Panda split, I think they have a chance to take the fights. But other than that, if they die throughout those, it looks pretty grim.
Those familiars doing some decent damage to PPD. Lil does manage to make a break. Gonna end up losing at least one familiar. Now they're gonna go back in. Fear hit with the stun. It looked like Puck wanted to go in. Might have been nice to have the coil there, huh? But
yeah, well, yeah. I would say that he probably wouldn't use it there, but I don't know.
Anyway, Arteezy leading the way, and here comes Illidan. Gets the static link off, but not for a particularly long duration. Arteezy still being the one to take it all on the chin. Ulti is up for Zai. And he does have his Veil of Discord as well. And Scepter plus Veil on a Vino, that ulti does probably 70,000 million damage. And that's just an estimate, but I think it's accurate.
One.
Yeah, and one, give or take. Maybe 72,000 million damage, something like that. But looks like the siege just gonna last until finally EG decides to pull the trigger.
Yep, and a Yulcher coming out here, but there's this initiation problem on kind of, here we go, more of the same. It's
another weird shake cross with PPD. In the meantime, Fear's there to help clean things up. Illidan's gonna have to TP away with that BKB. So effective use of Magic Immunity. Arteezy in the meantime taking a lot of damage out of bottom, won't be able to replicate away. Universe blinking up to the high ground. They have them split up. It's just PPD and Zai, though. Zai did not expend his ultimate. And Fear has hooked back up. Now there's going to be a Gale. That caught Illidan from behind. Phobos is going to go in, lands a Waning Rift, got two. The coil was spent, but once again, only got one, and it got Zai. Fear is not caring much about this damage. There's going to be the ultimate. He got Lil with that. Don't think he got anyone else. From Puck and Zai as well. And they may be able to follow this up. Mag using his exorcism to try to hold the line. There's going to be a Yule's onto PPD. Comes back down to the ground. Doesn't have a whole lot to say for himself as he was silenced out. Behind it all, though, we see the racks down to bottom. Down and gone. Universe continuing to pack away at this 2-3 in mid. So even though the kills are coming slowly for Polar, they're giving up a lot in exchange for them. Mag has his BKB deployed. That'll be coming off here in just a minute or two. Yep, the second or two. I should say Arteezy still trying to hang and fight. He's going to be caught with a multicasting. Those familiars are doing fair amounts of damage. Universe right there lays the macro fire. And Illidan's going to come into it and try to go to work on Arteezy. And no reason to ice pass, but Illidan's taking a lot more damage than I think he knew he would. As he gets down to 1/3, the familiars even have to break off the pursuit. So really odd engagement across the board there. The casualties, though, do include a tier 3 at top and all of the buildings down in bottom lane.
Yeah, it's just funny as we approach more later stages of the game where I'm actually seeing it in action, but I feel like with the, again, to go back to this point, with the first pick Panda, you would think that there are better ways to deal with him. I just feel like they have none. Their only way to deal with him was, I should say, a Puck Blink Silence, but did you see how much he got shut down? That was never going to happen because the BKB came out faster. So their only answer right now is an Ags on the Ogre. That's like their only answer, is to be able to burst him down from full to nothing before he can get off his BKB, which is a very, very tall order.
They're going to make something happen. Fear has completed a basher for himself. And Arteezy with a Scotty now to go with everything else. He is hitting like a truck. Universe. He's picked up a point booster. Could be on the way to a Scepter of his own, which makes macro player, I don't know, 13 miles long, give or take. Universe uses himself in the wrong part of town once again. Gets off an ice path. He's making it complicated for them at least. He has no help on the way, but is creating space as they're going to go ahead and move down mid lane, down the immediate. Does take place here. Caught with these static links. Zai's there, right to help him. Zai not going to do a whole lot though, just letting that damage get sapped away. Zai, PPD, and Arteezy right in the top lane. Fear still there. Over towards the main exorcism is going to be used. They just decide to kite this out. Used on Venom, comes back down, gets off the ult, got 3 with it. And Zai's going to end up dead amidst all of this. But in the meantime, Arteezy is doing work on Illidan, who has slowed down so much, couldn't even begin to run away despite the coil placed by Phobos. Phobos comes back in, phase shifts out of a little bit of damage, but going to wake up to a bad dream, as I'm sure they're going to end up catching. In the meantime, Fear doing work in mid lane. Tier 3 is down. Universe is there right with him. This is going to be the death of these racks, and most likely your GG coming up momentarily. Birds hit the ground, hit the deck, and Mag eating half of his life from the E-Blade combo. But yeah, this is going to be all she wrote. And once again, the draft, I don't hate for Polar, but the way they're playing it, and maybe, like you said, just a couple of really odd oddities in them. They don't give them that chance to succeed.
Yeah, and even the Visage pickup against Panda, like the birds against him was not that effective. Final stand here from Mag as he's trying to use that BKB and kill that PPD. He does able to do that. And yeah, last hurrah, not gonna work out. Bill gets taken out by Fear. Wicked 6 streak for him. He's 8-2 and 8. Level 23 actually tops in the game, and yeah, this is gonna be GG.
Get out, Peter.
All right, he's got Axe. This is the start of a comeback.
All right, Scepter done. And there's going to be the ulti. Hey, Gale as well. Arteezy is going to end up dead. Most likely. Oh, just going to morph strength to be immortal. Phobos is going to die, and he's still alive.
Wow.
Yeah, so Arteezy in quite good shape. And Polar just continuing to press this out. The creeps are going to win this game before 2-2. Nice pass. Fear's there. Follows it up. Fear's got himself a dash. Peeks and does. Just beating him to death. 500 damage crits coming out of Fear. Dead skis. And that should just about do that. Mag dragging it out a little bit. But not going to be long. So, I mean, really, I feel like Fear plays an amazing game. He's going to finish up 8-3 and 9. Not the highest on the board as Arteezy claims that, 13-3 and 9. But he was really solid on the Slark in game 1 as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think he played fantastically a game. I do think that it was a bit easier this game just because of the inherent lack of counters to Panda. But yeah, I still think he played a solid game. I actually think his Panda is one of the better ones in the Western scene that I've seen. I think his micros
they actually just clipped.
Wow.
Sorry.
Oh, no, they're fine.
Yeah, finally done. That was just funny. They used clip on the Western translate. So, game 2 ends with an EG win and one that didn't look all that particularly difficult. Took him 44 minutes to hang a game 2 loss on Polar. But Polar still, I mean, they're one of those teams that we're going to have a chance to watch all throughout D2L play this season. They're undergoing their own identity crisis, trying to fill a huge gap with the departure of Gold Black.